Hey everybody, you're watching Bois TV, and today we are coming to you with 25 tips for creating video content for global entrepreneurs and also marketing that content. As you know, I run a global drone video company, and emerging media partners. So we help a lot of global entrepreneurs create video content and global capital network. So I actually also connect to entrepreneurs and investors around the world and help film them and their story. Um, and film what we got, live. This is live, so this is real deal. You got deals coming in.
Business,
Oh, is that?
yeah,
Oh,
work. But anyhow,
that was the client. So I was gonna let you pick it up, close the deal. The one I'm helping pitch. Anyways, so we're still live here. Adam's cold. It's a little cold out. We're in beautiful Southern California here. About to get some food after this. Anyways, 25 tips. We have Adam here who does freelance video and drone out here. He has some awesome videos for like elite socialite events. He films a lot of yacht parties for our mutual contact. He actually filmed our Global Capital Network last investor event. That was actually small. We had like 25 to 30 investors. That's we do them different cities, and now he's about to film 151 for. Anyways, to the tips, done with the intros. So tip one.
hi, my name is Adam. Today I want to briefly explain on how to utilize your camera and see different angles when you're shooting.
So this tip one.
Tip one. So let's just explain it as Josh is right here. Let's start with the camera.
We got the DSLRs. So
we
I actually
have-
film on a Micro Four Thirds. I have a GH4.
So
Very nice. But it's a little harder to find the lenses. This guy is stock with the lenses. He has the beautiful
as
7200
the
lens.
first camera, I have a Sony Alpha S2.
Show
I'm
them this.
more of a
Look at this
filmmaker.
baby. Sony heavy lens.
Okay, so
The 7S or something.
this camera is about what? Just the body is about $3,000, $3,200 plus tax, but you can get it in a good deal online. What we're trying to do is the key of the perfect film or a good video is different angles from, let's just say let's just put all the lens in front. We have about
This is still tip one.
the key is to shoot and make people feel they're actually there by switching from Josh's eyes focused into Josh's city and an aerial shot. If you can figure out how to transition between, let's rephrase
like
it.
the opening shot.
The opening
The
shot.
establishing shot. So, like kind of like if you're watching, like a reality show or something, and before they even go into the people in the room talking, they have the establishing shot, like where they are, like the stock photos of New York or something like that. Then they show the two people talking inside.
So we'll go through each lens.
Well, that's a different tip.
That's a
We got-
different
we have
tip.
25 tips here.
The,
so.
the second tip is lenses. What I would
we're
recommend,
live.
to be honest, is start with macro
see.
lens. Macro lens, this is a Canon-based lens, and I have an adapter for this, so I can convert them. Canons are, for me, it's better. They're better lens, and I already had them. This lens is made to take pictures of bugs.
Like very
Extreme
small
details of like hair follicles of your nose or the eye color. So if you can start with things that are just very detailed, nobody can get these shots unless you have something that.
And again, that's macro, not micro.
Macro,
It's
sorry.
counterintuitive because you
Micro.
think micro, very small, but macro.
However, I start with these in my footage and I switch them into aerial drone shots. So if I can switch between his eyes and then transition it into a whole baseball field, of a circled baseball field, and his eyes at the same time, that looks really nice because you're like, wow, it's so close up and then it's so out. And these jumps make the user wanna watch more and more and more. So that's the first lens that I would enjoy using. It's not the lens made for interviews and stuff, but it's a lens made for the artistic view and look. Second of all, you have the 35mm prime, which is the basic headshot lens.
Explain to them prime.
Prime, which means it's a fixed lens. It's only shoots 35. 35 is a headshot. So let's just say we're taking a picture of Josh right here, and we're only taking.
Work it.
Don't move
Work
that
it.
much. Okay. Okay, so 35mm would basically blur out everything and make just Josh really really good looking, and everything else looks all blurred out, so it gives you that shallow.
And that's actually called bokeh, which is actually my favorite thing about filming, and it's actually one of the most commonly used video techniques that you're probably not realizing is happening. So when most talking scenes in movies and video, you know, they purposely blur out the background so the foreground is very focused, so you're able to, like right now, see, we're not even filming on anything nice. I just actually have this, we're going live straight from my iPhone X, actually using the front camera, so it's not the best camera. Just doing that so it's easy for you guys to join in and watch. Oh, he still wants to show. He's dying to show this.
Third tip is the big ones, 70 to 200.
This is my favorite lens in the world.
These lenses are extremely expensive to fix, and they're extremely expensive.
It's like 1800 new.
1900.
Yeah,
but the cool thing about this is I can zoom into an event that's happening there while I'm sitting here. So as a filmmaker, you don't need to go anywhere as much. I can film close-up shots, very similar to these, not as good, with Josh's face, and I can film him jumping into the water at the same time in one shot.
It's a little cold right now.
Okay, we're not jumping in the water today, but
and I actually have a lot of like celebrity clients that I work with, and I actually work with a lot of paparazzi, and they use this as well on the red carpet. So even when they're further away, they still get a really close, perfect shot where the subject is in focus and the background's a little blurry. So then they use this lens. I love the 70-200, which
if you're working with photographers or videographers and you want to know which one knows what they're doing or which one reached the pro level or not, look at that red line. I'm not saying everybody, but this red line also means the price of the lens. There's a little bit on the pricier side, and they reached the level. And then you see the quality. But however, that red line gives you, like, it's like the tag on the BMW.
Interesting.
You know?
Like the M.
The M, or what?
I have
the
Beamer,
M.
but I don't have the M on it, you know, yet. If you guys all, you know, watch enough of these videos, like it, and plus my other businesses, you know, hopefully get the M next year. That's pretty much everything. Well, that was just tip 3. We got 25 tips to go through. So we
yeah.
So basically, pick the right lens for what you're filming, whether it's something really close up or you want to blur the background. And then there's also lenses where it's just a fixed lens, like just a 35mm lens. That nice one he was showing you was a 70 to 200mm, meaning it can zoom in from 200mm really close, or kind of zoom out from 70. Sometimes you'll just get a fixed lens at a certain millimeter, so you can kind of get everything in the picture. You're not zoom in or anything, it's just kind of fixed, like a wide angle type deal.
Make sure when you open the lens, don't really have it exposed. There's no sun today, but each lens has a sensor inside, and the sensor, if it's exposed to sun, it gets burnt out, and then it gets burnt out.
So you always want to keep your cameras
so you always
so that
hide
dust's
it
not
and
getting in
change
there.
it. That's just a photography advice. Probably every photographer knows this. So we're gonna line up the colors. Okay. Let's look at this. Okay. So let's give you an idea of how much
look at this thing.
zoom are we talking about.
Pops look on the red carpet.
Okay, this is it.
I actually have some cool photos of me out there, where my paparazzi clients have come over here to my pad to work, and they've taken photos of me with that thing.
Okay,
it just
so
looks hot. I love that thing.
We're gonna take a picture of Josh and before the zoom and after. Okay, so this is, and Josh is moving a lot. Automatic.
Well, you know, some of these cameras also have, I guess, we'll make this tip 4 now. Get a camera with OIS, optical image stabilization.
Yes, that's actually very important.
So that basically when things are moving, it can refocus very quickly.
So we're recording Josh here. Okay.
You are watching Josh Bois TV on Josh Bois TV.
So we're recording Josh here, trying to don't move as much.
My iPhone's good.
I want to focus on you.
I mean, it's tough to put a 70-200 right up to.
So let's just say, assumingly it's focused, I can zoom. Let me zoom all the way back. So this is Josh. I can zoom all the way to Josh's.
See how the background's kind of blurred, makes the content a little. Really
this is very hard to navigate and show. Usually I put this on the screen in the computer when I show people things like that.
On the screen.
But let me switch this back.
All right, well, keep on. We got 20 more tips.
We got more tips to say.
to say.
I generate tips in
Okay, so tip numero 5. I'll take this one.
Okay.
I gotta think of one actually. I mean, we both know this. It's been a long day. Tip number 5 is pre-plan your video. Don't just wing it.
Yes, I would
like this video.
That's actually very.
Actually write out a script, even if it's just an outline of 10 things that you want to talk. You want to cover in your video, or the location, the subjects, especially for video. This is technically about creating and marketing video for entrepreneurs. Okay, so this is not just video in general. So this, talking about your brand, like it'd be a nice about video, or it could just be content like this to keep your subscribers and other people in content. So write out your plan.
Let me add one thing into pre-plan your video.
It starts with
transitions are key. The transitions you use on the editing, if you're using Adobe Premiere, After Effects, or Final Cut, they're very kind of cheesy and they're not as professional. If you can create transitions live before you even get into the video, that's when you're like on a good page. Let's just say, for example, if I'm gonna start recording Josh and he's about to go to a meeting or something, or like the investor meeting that you did, I'm not gonna start with Josh. I'm gonna start with something that's where he is at. I'm gonna start with a logo, and then I'm
like
gonna
the pool or something like that,
into
my face.
Holding a Ronin or something, and I go, and then you start it. So that transition that you're going that way is what you need in order for it. And you don't really need to use it. Always start with something dark or black. Always start with something that's, let's just say, a background. So when you put them together and stitch them, when you transition, now it's so simultaneously, it doesn't freak out the.
So we'll call this tip 6, basically transitions.
Transitions.
And so actually for like all, it's like when I'm doing like corporate stuff, same with him. Like when we're entering like the first shot of like our corporate videos, right? You'll be like, the building. You'll be outside the video, building on like a tripod, and you go from like the sky down to like the opening doors, and then the next shots can be like someone walking in, you following them from behind, and then it's the CEO talking while you show shots of the interior and such, and people talking.
Pretend it's like a simultaneous I don't know how to explain it, but I box sometimes and I go to the gym, and my instructor said when you're boxing, your legs and the punch goes together. It's the twist of the leg and the punch goes with the flow. And if you can flow that same metaphor I explained with the boxing into a video and make it just one. Have you watched videos or very just not very let's just say
of boxing?
Videos that's not very statistically pleasing.
Aesthetically pleasing.
And you watch something that's like, why is it very long, and why are they not flowing?
We're still in transitions right here. And you can also buy transitions online.
You can buy
all sorts of templates and things that already kind of have nice transitions, whether it's glitchy for kind of the high-tech side of it, or kind of flowy, or like arrows going across. My favorite, all this blue stuff.
Each individual has their own way of dealing with transitions. Some people like to buy it. Some people want it more organically, like more original.
Soon you're actually going to see Adam's working on editing an awesome video for my drone video company, and also one for my investor shows. And we actually, one of the things I did is one of the things, and this is tip 7. We're gonna call this tip 7 now. I hope we didn't skip 6. I think that was kind of 6, hybrid-ish. Tip 7 is, actually look at templates and things out there, because basically you can pre-plan the look and feel of what you want
before
with
even
things
start
that are
shooting.
out there. So I actually gave him all sorts of assets. I call them video assets here. Of transitions I wanted to use, the color template for the format, kind of like event templates to show off the event we did. We did a 4-city event, And then I gave him even all these little tech add-ons to, make things look really cool, things spinning around, like coding windows, so it kind of looks like a hacker movie or some crazy technology. So, use templates and use things that are out there, because you basically don't need to reinvent the wheel. And that's one of the biggest things I do as a, consultant, as well as, and I run 2030 Ventures, it's a startup accelerator. So it's always, I'm trying to find ways to accelerate business and push things along faster. And one of the best things to do, especially in business, when people are building new web platforms, is don't reinvent the wheel. If there's already A, B, and C built, just use those, customize them to your needs, and then work on the D, the core focus. Don't rebuild everything. Like, for example, I know this is getting off topic because, the template thing, but, people have come to me and they want to build a custom social network, or the social network for, health, or for finance, or a special, like, there's already social networks built. You just need to change the verbiage that, social network for finance, and people they already have the friending functionality and the messaging, so you don't need to rebuild the wheel. Same thing with, you don't need to spend, especially if on a budget, when you're a company, or your shoestring budget, or bootstrapping, you don't need to spend 40 hours of video editing time if they can use a template and already kind of get it how you like it, with less time, and they can just plug in the videos and photos, change the wording to what you want, and you're ready for the next video. You're ready to put that spend into your marketing budget. So tip eight.
This is very important, to be honest.
This is for the haters.
Find something that you really enjoy shooting, and don't shoot it for the money. Okay. Offer free services in the beginning.
Or content.
You're the person you're working with, either a client or a family member or photo shoot or whatever you're doing. It's like an artist that's painting a canvas. You have to be in the mood to paint that specific painting. You can't just
Monet.
If you're set up in a shoot and you don't feel good, cancel that shoot that day. Because you're not gonna perform well. You're not gonna enjoy it. You're not gonna be as creative, as happy. And if the shoot is just too much for you, and it's something that's just, let's just say, for example, let's not mention names, but one guy wanted me to shoot porn, okay?
Oh, gross.
And he was like,
that's horrible.
Would you want to do that? And
You said no.
I didn't say no, I said,
oh gosh.
No is, I said, sir, I would rather be shooting something else. All due respect. Money is not an issue.
So you phrased your no nicely.
The niceness.
Please tell me you didn't film it.
No, I did not film
Thank
it.
you.
It's not about that.
It's clean channel.
So some people
Josh
enjoy filming whatever, but if you don't like or you feel uncomfortable shooting something, just deny it. And deny it straightforward, and don't look at the bigger dollar sign, because the dollar sign comes later on. The asset of money comes from your hobby after you perfect what you enjoy.
And keep in mind, this video is also not about being a videographer. This is about how to create video content and market it for entrepreneurs, though. So they might have an app, and they're not doing video. This is not about, for freelance video guys, all this could help. This is just about, the general entrepreneur. It's like, how do I promote myself more through video content, creating it, and basically marketing it. So we're front loading right now with the editing and the filming portion, and then we'll get more into, especially my expertise, which is the marketing side, since I've had an agency for 15 years, so might as well get into that. So that was tip 8, which is, what was the summary?
Summary of that is do what you enjoy.
Do what you enjoy.
And don't do it for the money. Do it for the passion and the creativity.
And then let it flow into something. Like, for example, perfect examples are like Ty Lopez, right? And like Grant Cardone, where, they sell services like sales training and all this stuff, but, they still release a ton of free video content on kind of giving, little icebergs of kind of what they do, and you get to enjoy it. So, okay, that was tip 8. Tip 9. It's about time. Oh, this one's mine. All right. Give me a second. Zoolander style. Well, you can't. Okay. My next tip is choose your medium. This is actually, kind of segueing into the marketing a little bit ahead of time. It's not going to exactly be 12 and 12.
Perfect at everything.
Well, you can't keep it perfect at everything. That's kind of the perfection. That'll be the next bit, actually. The medium is, so for example, sometimes videos are going to be best on Instagram. Sometimes they're best on YouTube, where you guys are seeing this most likely right now. Sometimes they're best on Facebook. Depends where your audience is. But actually, I was literally just explaining this to him, and I explain this to a lot of entrepreneurs, which is, don't waste your time on Snapchat, because you know, you're gonna spend all this time filming it, and only, you know, 20, 30, maybe 50, maybe 100, come on, you know, unless you're a celebrity, people are really gonna watch that, and then it disappears. Okay, maybe it goes to your memories or something like that, but it disappears, so people don't get to, you know, especially if they're not on there, they're busy business people, you don't have time to watch everyone's story every day, so it's a lot of wasted time filming things. So, you know, post, you know, especially they do have this memory feature. I would recommend, whether it's Instagram or Snapchat, always having the setting on for it to save your camera roll. So you have the option of uploading it later to something like YouTube, or creating a mix and match. I actually personally do like Instagram when you're doing the stories on it, because you can post this Instagram, which is a very public environment. Snapchat's a lot more private, right? So for businesses and entrepreneurs trying to promote a message, the whole point of you putting in that time to make that message is that it not only posts to Instagram, it actually can also cross-post to your Facebook, which is probably already where you have, I almost have, what, 4,300 people on my Facebook, so, you know, people can see it in their Messenger. And now there's actually a brand new feature I was just showing Adam here, basically where you can actually highlight different things that you post, so it's actually permanent on your homepage in different categories. So I have like an active category in business, travel, food, fun, views, everything. So that is your medium, and there's different things like Vimeo that are kind of, you know, important. Sometimes maybe if you have some sort of music that's kind of copyrighted, or someone gave it to you, or you're not sure you really like it, that you might get removed real fast if it's on YouTube. I mean, Vimeo will actually do that too, whereas post it to Facebook and you're probably fine. You know, they're probably not going to remove you for copyright. Let me do one more here. So that was tip 9.
Medium. I'm gonna jump on something.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the same method. When you said medium, Josh, I thought you meant medium as an area of what you perfect. Okay. This is
like the quality, like.
Not necessarily quality, but I discovered that you have to, like, if you notice Instagram and a bunch of filmmakers, there's a category of filmmakers that make travel videos. They come with like the house tropical music. They have these cool zoom in transitions. They're really good drone pilots, and that's their area is travel videos. They're good at making that, and they're always out, and they're always doing something, activities. They're usually fit, and they're doing cool stuff. And then you have the corporate, like industrial interview, typical. That's like where the money is, to be honest. You know? And they shoot investor meetings. They shoot things such as mixers, like really high quality events. Not that much movement.
Well, that's where the clients are paying, so you're getting front-loaded, your money front-loaded from people paying for the video, but you're not getting as many viewers on like these kind of investor videos and stuff, because people want to watch, you know, more like fun consumer stuff.
The last example I would say is the third category is what is it called? Like Red Bull or videos that have a lot of activities and a lot of like crazy stuff going on, and there's a lot of effects. We're talking about outdoor filmmakers right now, and all these categories you cannot, but preferably pick one and stick with one, because you're gonna switch. If you switch from corporate to a travel, you're not gonna have that much. First of all, professional.
Well, you won't be relevant. You can't be relevant to many audiences.
Pick a market.
And that's where I have the issue, because it's like I like, you know, these entrepreneur-funded videos I post, but I also have a lot of like investor, corporate stuff, and then I have like tips about other things. So I'm trying to keep it relatively businessy, but still like put my adventures in. And I really kind of want it all on the same channel. I don't really want to spread my energies across a lot.
My example is you only have 2 hands.
I do?
So, no, not like that.
No, just kidding.
So you can't do everything at the same time. So pick a category, perfect it, be really good at it, and then just.
And this was tip 10. That was tip 10. Tip 10, right?
All right.
Okay, so tip 11. Next is, if you're going to film with a camera, I was actually talking this to him earlier, and I tell this to a lot of people. If you're going to film with your camera, for example, you have to figure out what medium you're going to publish it on. So, for example, if you're filming a lot of videos upright with your iPhone,
with my phone,
then it's going to be portrait, okay, basically. So you don't want to post those to YouTube. Those are good on.
You're saying.
So yeah, see, like how you post, like, you know, upwards, it's gonna have black bars on the side if you publish something like YouTube, right? Like, because you're basically, you want to film TV style, so you want to post sideways, long ways, if you're gonna publish to YouTube, which most people don't do because they're on Snapchat or Instagram.
But people actually
they're filming
don't
upload.
like
And then people don't want to see, they want to see a relatively quality video. So you don't want the black bars inside. So you kind of got to pick, are you going to post this on Instagram or Snapchat? And I actually had people complain because I know this. So I would actually post most of my a lot of videos on Instagram. I'd be filming a lot of stuff sideways because I have things automatically saved in my camera roll so I can upload to YouTube later, should I want to. But basically people are like, oh, well, I don't want to turn my head sideways, when you're filming.
Also, however,
so that was tip 11.
There's an effect. This is not. I don't think that's a tip, but there's an effect that you can fill in those sides. If you're filming vertical, it would give you like a smooth.
Well, just basically stretches everything out.
It would stretch it.
But then it crops out the top and the bottom, probably.
No, not really. I don't know what it does exactly, but I've seen it. I bought that template, and it makes it look more of like they'll use it in TV. And if they put a Snapchat on the news, have you ever seen it? Like they put Snapchat on the news of people Snapchatting.
Like some sidebar or something like that.
They make it look really.
So they fill it with like a snap, like face on the side or something like that.
Or they duplicate it. You can duplicate it 3 bars. So 1, 2, 3. I don't know how they do it, but.
Interesting, Mr.
That's
Bond.
It.
So that was tip 11.
Tip 12. Tip 12. Why did you put 21, Josh?
25. We go to 25.
25.
Yeah, okay, so we'll get through this. Well, it's about to be marketing, okay? So I'll kill that.
Generating these tips, like even though I have a lot of things to talk about, but
I just sprung this on him. Like, we're about to do a YouTube video. And he was hungry too.
Josh is more of the marketing aspect. I'm more of the filmmaker. So you have creativity plus money generation, But that's kind of why.
Well, I do a lot of film stuff myself. I have a global team of people that I send to, global jobs. We just did something in Hawaii, and I just did a government job, and also a lot of commercial jobs for some big companies out there. So tip 13, so I already talked about the sideways versus the side. Next, okay, we'll get into some marketing tips. So this is about creating and marketing content for global entrepreneurs. We're on tip 12, right? Tip 12, so not 1, tip 12. Pick your keywords very wisely. Your keywords and your title. We'll make that all tip 12 here.
What are you referring as keywords? Like
when you're uploading your video, okay? So whether it's to YouTube or Facebook, so picture of cat isn't probably going to do so well, right? Not that your video is about picture of cat, anyways, but cutest pictures of cats ever or something, and there's tools you can use like TubeMogul. Definitely recommend using that.
What is it? Can you repeat it again?
TubeMogul.
TubeMogul.
They might have changed the name. I'm pretty sure that's the latest version.
What does that do?
So basically, you can actually search different keywords. You can actually do all sorts of keyword research, and you can actually have it auto update and reorganize and prioritize keywords within your video. And then you can optimize the title a little bit as well.
I have a question. This is let's compare somebody that knows how to use keywords very well and somebody that has no idea.
That person gets views, the person that uses it right.
What's the percentage of success of the person that's professional at keywords?
41.237. No. 8.
Is it that crucial? It's such a
it's
big
very
factor?
well. YouTube is an important place to post your video because of discoverability. But there's so much competition. How many billions of views certain videos have versus other ones?
Also, sometimes I click on something and it says like most amazing, or
right, and they got your click, whether or not the video is awesome or not. But still,
sometimes I get really disappointed because I see the video,
so be honest with your videos,
and I say, wow, this video doesn't do justice of what I picked. The title seems so exciting when I pick it. It's something completely different, or it's something related to the topic, but the car never crashes. Crash.
Oh, I know, or
So, how do you write a nice headline without? You want to put some gravy on it, but you don't want to.
One of a video that I have that has got some a couple thousand views real easy. I did a drone job on the East Coast for this center where it's one of those like indoor like trampoline places, and they have all this crazy equipment to climb on. So I actually called it like Fun Ninja Warrior. So I feel I did we were doing flips and other things, but it wasn't exactly Ninja Warriors, but it did bring views. So you kind of got to balance that. So I wonder if people were like
Ninja like trampoline. Is it related?
I mean, I tried to I don't know, I forget the exact title of it, but there's a little balance of you gotta put something that's accurate, because you also don't want to get a bunch of you don't want down thumbs on your video.
What is that down thumb?
So basically, people can like or dislike a video.
Okay.
And there's several. So we'll get into tip 13 here. So I guess that was tip 13 is the proper, I guess, or I guess the moralities and ethics, I guess, you know, be accurate.
Be credible,
be credible and be honest with what you're posting, but
uh,
don't be too conservative.
don't over.
Yeah, don't overpromise, don't
yeah.
underdeliver. Over deliver, under promise maybe. Well,
Yeah.
maybe just, you know, promise a bunch too. But so that was that. So next we'll get into tip 14. So this is something why I think it's very important to post on YouTube is that you can actually include links at the bottom of your videos, okay? So you can have affiliate links, you can have links to your own website, to your social media, to the person who made the music, so you can maybe even get free royalty rights. On Instagram, you actually can't put a link at the bottom. On Facebook, you can, other places, but that's why I actually really don't like Instagram as a marketing tool other than for hashtags and stuff, because you only get one link in the bio, unless it's an ad, but then you're paying, okay? So you definitely might as well get a link. So yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think it's, let's say I just started shooting videos and I want to go out there and become something, you know, a YouTube fanatic or like a blogger, okay? A vlogger, that's what they call it, a vlogger. Do you think I should pay for advertisement? Is it worth that money?
I think it depends on the person, and it depends on what you're doing. I mean, you can do YouTube ads for very...
Can I blow up and become...
to an extent, because here's the thing. You know, you can maybe promote your video, but, you know, if it's bad content, then,
12,
you know,
13.
it won't go by, you know, you can help initiate the kind of the push, but if it's bad content no one wants to watch, and people... YouTube adds all sorts of analytics, such as... how long are people watching the video? So maybe you get people to your video because you're paying, but they're only watching the first minute out of 5 or the only first 10 seconds because they don't like it or the quality's bad, you can't hear the audio. So if they're clicking away or you're getting dislikes or they're not viewing the whole thing, YouTube's just gonna not promote the video in the natural search results. So you can pay till you're blue in the face, but or you can pay for the fake followers or something like that.
And
but
how much are we talking about? Let's just get an idea.
It depends. Ooh, we got a helmet chopper. You guys want to see this?
Not even there. Where is it? Yeah, right.
You guys see it? Oh. Yeah. Helichoppas. Yeah, I know it's helicopter. It just sounds fun to say helichoppa. So, I mean, yeah, you can pay to play. I mean, you can pay anything from a couple dollars for a video ad to thousands or tens, hundreds of thousands based on how many views you want, but it really depends on your budget, and it depends on the use. Like, is this just for you talking about, a girl talking about her makeup tips, or is this like you're trying to blow up your channel, or is this for commercial purposes, like you're trying to get app downloads or something?
When you buy a view,
yeah,
on YouTube, is it literally sending somebody a click, telling them to come to you, or is it fake? Is it just like
no? It's well, if you're buying it through Google AdWords platform, you're buying real people are seeing the ad to be
real people are seeing that.
People can you can choose where they are in the world. You know, cheaper's international, more here. It depends on, you know, is it an executive watching your video, or are you targeting corporate keywords that might be very expensive, or are you just general puppies? You know, that anyone might watch. But the ads come pre-roll before videos, post-roll, or during. There's also, you know, banner ads to the side of videos. They can sometimes, even play, you know, a video ad in the middle of that. So, you know, it depends. There's different formats. You can promote videos and other things online, so it's only on external sites. So it really depends. Yeah, so I guess we'll just call that tip 14, which is some general advertising things that you're using AdWords to target your ad.
Tip
15.
15.
I think we didn't miss it.
Grambler. There's an app inside your computer that you can download. It's called Grambler. Okay. Basically, what it does is it links you can download Snapchat into your computer. You can download Instagram to your computer. You can download Facebook is already a website, but you can put them all in an organized system, and you can time your posts. So instead of planning and like, oh, I want to post this, and you're at work or you're in a meeting or you're busy, you can time 6 o'clock. I'm gonna post one picture or one video on Facebook, Instagram, and Instagram, Facebook.
Or you schedule your post basically ahead of time.
And then 6 p.m. it will post that picture. 7 p.m. you can put a date. You can schedule.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's other tools called like Hootsuite is the big one. You know, Buffler. I actually really like XoXo these days because I can post from multiple of my brands in the same place. It's really accurate and it works with my CRM. And
the thing that I like kind of about Grambler, that will automatically like other people's pictures all the time. And it follows people. It's just, you send that little robots and then just keep on following people. So they follow people related to your category. So you can say follow just the local OC circle, and they'll just follow people in OC that are related to drone business. And then after you build, and they follow you back, and then automatically Grambler would unfollow them, which is very kind of mysterious.
So there's, you know, as you've heard, I've walked into him and we'll be with the girls and I'll be like, I've been working on my robots. I love robots. So I am the first person that loves automation and robots. I've built robots for all sorts of different.
Not real robots.
Not real. We'll actually have done some of that stuff. We'll
Computer
take
robots.
about that later. But you know, I've built software stuff to, you know, help automate different tasks on social media. But some of the problems is a lot of different social media networks and platforms don't like when you're using bots. So be careful, because they can either ban or suspend your account or limit you or make you, change your password. And you know, obviously there's no point in building a real subscriber base and paying for ads and all this stuff if you're gonna get your account deleted. So this will be tip 16 is, if you're gonna use automation and things, be very careful about making sure you're complying with the terms of service.
What's the best app you recommend from all these, like, automated, without building one, just getting one?
I mean, I could go on for days about that. I can talk about it, but I also don't want to promote anything that's against any different terms of service, especially public. So if you want to hear the true story, y'all can go to joshbois.com or globalcapitalnetwork.com or emergingmediapowers.com/contact on all of them, or my social media, message me, engage in a monthly engagement as a consultant, and I'll brain dump on you in beautiful formats of all the tools that you can use. We can integrate it for you. We can get people working on them. Or we can do basically the work of a bot by, putting data entry people, $5 an hour. Yeah, no, think fast, talk fast.
For me, your language, like the marketing, I just kind of dumb it down and explain it to me.
So basically we can get what's called virtual assistants or data entry people. So basically just people in other countries that are willing to work for cheaper, aka outsourcing, at a lower budget. So we're talking, $4 or $5 an hour. People do all sorts of tasks.
How do you find
all sorts of different platforms? I recommend like Upwork. There's like freelancer sites. I mean, but you can post a gig and people can apply. You can filter them out by how much feedback they have.
Oh, they have. Okay, that's.
So I personally only will work with people that have like they've made 85,000 plus through the site, and 4.9 out of or 4.5 out of 5-star feedback. So we do a lot of work with outsourced people. We also have a lot of local talent, but we gauge all sorts of different talent by their feedback, how many projects they're working on, everything.
All right, it's getting cold.
It's getting we're almost done. So that was let's call that tip 16. I think we're tip 17. So we're getting through there. They just love random. Just want to hang out and watch. But we got all sorts of fans. Oh, it's cooking. We out here by the pool here, so we got barbecues. So tip 17 for the global entrepreneur trying to market their video is don't over worry about things being perfect. I actually hadn't posted as many videos as I probably should have and wanted to on YouTube, because I want to add all my production effects. I want to add my intro, my outro, my titles, and my overlays and filters, and edit things out. And honestly, I watch all these videos on YouTube, and it's like people are just posting on their video, sometimes even upright, and there's talking, no intros, no outros, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of views, 50,000 views. I'm like, you know what? I need to stop worrying. That's why we're on YouTube Live right now. No production effects.
I would add a comment to that, to be honest.
Comes the comment.
What you see in what you see in the video or whatever your work is, you always see unperfect. There's nothing. It cannot be perfect.
Everything can always be better.
I had a lot of issues back then that I don't want to post anything on anything, because I always feel like if it doesn't, I have
so much content I just haven't
look
put
like
out.
A movie, I'm not posting.
God.
But guess what? That's from your eye, But when the other people see it, when I've sent a lot of videos to people, and they're like, "Wow, this looks amazing." In my head, I'm like, "I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this." But they just love it, and you have to understand that them seeing it as non-filmmakers, which is normal computer.
Yeah, people are. Oh, that looks awesome. And you're like, really?
And that's the only issue I've dealt with, honestly, is artists. artists focus on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tough business model.
that's probably the don't just send the work, post the ad, just post. Just show it to people, and then you can build the feedback. Don't build your own feedback and then be criticized.
And honestly, that's one of the things I was talking to him about. Is like, even though I can edit my own videos pretty well, and I've done a lot of the videos that you guys probably have seen on my channel. If you watch my videos, please do subscribe below.
Know what you want to shoot?
No, below. Hit that subscribe. Smash it. Smash the subscribe button. That's what they say.
Do you have one right there? Where is it?
Oh, the subscribe button's right here, dog. You don't see it? Am I the only person seeing this? You guys don't see the subscribe button? It's like right here. Anyways, there's all these old video clips where, you know, I'm just like, I'll film stuff, but then I won't even sit there and edit it because I want it perfect. So I'm gonna start sending a lot of stuff to Adam just because I know he'll just cut it, make it look good.
Of course, you're just.
He's better at editing. He actually likes editing, so put you on retainer for that. Okay, so that was tip 17. Tip 18. That was tip 17. So this is tip 18 now.
My tip is look professional, but also be comfortable what you're wearing. Because a lot of times I go out, I want to wear like what, button up, suit, whatever, and then I'm holding a camera and my shoes are just business attire, and they're so uncomfortable, and I can't walk and I can't shoot as well because I'm uncomfortable. So try to find the business professional, but find something that's extremely comfortable so you can be mobile and move. From my perspective.
Okay.
If I'm always holding camera, I need my shoes to be comfortable, and I need my shoes to be a little bit.
You got some comfy shoes on right now.
Yeah, I have some really comfy shoes. I don't know. I'm gonna show you my shoes.
But that's another thing. That's another reason too. Also, why, you know, about that kind of that tip and then this tip is, you know, I like didn't a lot of film. I was like, oh, if I'm gonna film a video, I need to, you know, get all dressed up and look all nice. I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna go live, throw on the sweater, and let's just do it. So that's tip 18. Tip 19. I think to get rid of a mental block about filming, write a lot of things down. So actually,
mental block. What is that mental block?
Mental block is like when there's something in your head that's stopping you,
right?
Writer's block, or just like, you know, you're deferring it. But so for when I was coming back from DC 2 weeks ago for my investor's pad out there, I was sitting on my iPad working on the plane, writing a list of all the process I'm gonna do, like add my JBTV intro, add the outro, add a music clip, here's the folders I'm gonna use, here's the software I'm gonna use to like add titles, you know, whether it's my desktop stuff or my mobile stuff. So that way it's just like out of my head, like, okay, if, you know, I can just, you know, follow this list of like, here's what I'm gonna use for my effects, here's what I'm gonna use for my titles, here's the folder with all, you know, on my phone and the files app, I use iOS. I have background music, some of the stuff I've made, some stuff other, you know, people have given me. So everything's just right in one place, so I have less reasons to not just do it. Just film it, edit it right there, and then publish it. I literally have edited all these videos too, and then I'm like, oh, I wanted to make it perfect, and I just never even published it, even though I do the editing.
It's all right.
Yeah, we'll call it back in a bit. So that was tip 19, is to kind of outline the tools and the resources you're going to use, and kind of remove a mental block. Tip 20.
Tip 20.
Oh, tip 20. The music. You know, you don't need to worry. Don't use your favorite song from Drake, Drizzy, you know, or you know, from some hip hop thing, because you know, if you add that and you put it on like YouTube, you'll get a copyright claim, and then you'll lose your. They'll remove your audio.
Sometimes you can send that song. So let's just say one of your clients sends you a song and they say, I want to use that.
I love this. Yeah,
and they're commercial, and they're gonna post it on YouTube, obviously. And a lot of times you approve on the song, you bring the song, you go online, you spend 20 hours editing the video, and then after that, what happens is he said, hey, I can't post the video, blah blah blah.
Oh, wouldn't even let him post?
No, they post and then
and the audio's removed after.
Or Facebook.
Yeah.
And then
Facebook does that too?
Yeah, and then he goes back.
Wow.
And then they contact me and they say, hey,
you gotta future-proof your videos for all the networks.
So I would take the song, go on YouTube, and there's a thing I can explain later. You go to activity and you can search for all the songs that are non-copyrighted on YouTube. You can put that song, and if it's there, which means you can use it, and they're not gonna flag you. If you go on YouTube and put how to add a song into a video that's non-copyrighted, they'll show you how. There's a lot of tips and tricks related to that, but I would just stay safe and just use your own non-copyright.
Well, yeah, and you know, a lot of people don't have audio. You know, one thing I actually get reached out to, which is pretty cool, from artists to use their audio, basically, and a lot of them just, you know, want me to link to them at the bottom of my profile so they get extra views. Some people might buy their music and, you know, they get free promotion of my videos, but you can go on websites like audiojungle.com.
Audio Jungle is nice, yeah.
And basically buy something. Usually when you buy it, you're supposed to only use it on one video. Sometimes you can kind of get away for multiple times, but if they come back to you on YouTube and they remove your audio and you're like, oh, I bought it once, and you have to go buy it a bunch of other times, they might be like, well, you just bought it now.
Well, you can, what I would do.
And YouTube also has their own stock audio that you can use.
You can buy it.
It's kind of janky, and everyone's going to hear that.
They're just buying a 7-minute song or a 5-minute song. You can cut the song into a minute, and make 5 promo videos in that one song that you just bought. Instead of just using that whole thing, you can cut it into segments. Yeah, quality of tip. What were we
tip
at?
20. Let's say tip 20.
Besides, what was
I'll take
block.
Tip 20. Use some effects. You know, you can. You know, add some cool, you know, glitches to your video or sun, you know, things to add to the production quality.
But I want to just interrupt one thing in effects.
How dare you?
There's different styles of editing. I myself don't like using as much effects. I make simple, straight cuts, everything just straight to the point, and it has been very successful. Depending on if you're shooting a business professional, like business meeting, effects are too. There people get bothered, and a lot of untalented people use a lot of effects to cover the quality that they cannot reach. And don't ever do that.
Well, like for example, like if things are overcast, you know, sometimes we'll have like a drone video and it's overcast. You can kind of
filters.
You know, add filters, or you can lighten it, right? And you know, or kind of blur out the sky so it just add a lot of light so it looks like it's middle of the day. Also. You know, you don't usually want to add them clouds. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So and then last one on that is add lower thirds. So a lower third is basically on the bottom of the screen here, where it'll be like, you know, Josh Bois, CEO of Global Good Networks. You know, I have all my editors like make sure they add that, or I add that to my videos. You know, like, and you can add that underneath each person. So it kind of adds professionalism and it reinforces who that person is and their role and with what company. And sometimes you'll have like their name, position, and maybe even a tagline underneath it, like, you know, helping entrepreneurs connect to investors, you know, or something like that, so they kind of get what you're doing or what you're talking about. It's kind of, you'll see that on the news, right? Like, you know, Billy Bob, you know, then CEO of this, and it's like trying, you know, stock just went to 500%. His comments on, you know, stock rising or some other thing. So, tip 22.
Yes, tip 22. Let's just say tip 22. That's actually. Let's say there's a band. There's a band project that I'm working on.
A band?
A band that's playing music.
Oh, a band.
And they want me to make a cool ass music clip. It just has a bunch of things, and I've never worked with bands before. Let's just say I have no clue, and I need to spark my imagination. Let's just say the band is
usually low budget because yet they split all their revenue 5 ways, and bands are kind of dying these days if you haven't noticed. Even though I'm not saying music's dead.
To expand your creativity and to actually start editing, if you have that writer's block, what I would do is start watching videos in the same category of music. So I would watch like the Neighborhood. Maybe the band is very similar to the Neighborhood.
There's also entrepreneurial focus. So if you're making an app, watch other app promo videos. If you're promoting a service, watch other service writers.
5 different music clips, different styles, and then look at and then while like I watch Fun, the singer named Fun, the Neighborhood, Imagine Dragons, and then all of these are kind of
that band name was I think like a dragon, like every time they say this.
And then slowly, while you're watching them, you get this inspiration, and you mix up. You're not gonna copy their ideas. You're just trying to
get an idea. And they say copying is the best, you know, imitation is the best form of flattery sometimes. And honestly, you don't have to, again, back to another tip is don't rebuild the wheel. You know, if someone's already talking about a topic or kind of doing a certain way, you can kind of take cues from them. Because, you know, they probably had a mentor or someone they were watching before. It was pretty, the lights in the pool starting to come on. That shows you guys it's getting cold out here in Southern California.
We'll finish. You want to finish the 4 tips, or you want to keep going?
Yeah, well, I think I'm on 23 right now. See, I'll finish it off. Jay Bois got it in his little bag of magic entrepreneurial tips.
I'll let Jay Bois finish. I need to use the restroom.
Thank
you so much.
All right.
Well, nice meeting you, Josh.
Yeah, like he just met me. But we're good buddies. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Anyways. So I'll just say tip 23. I don't know if I'm double covering anything here. Tip 23 as far as the marketing is, you know, if you're trying to get your views up, maybe target things foreign. I think, you know, briefly covered that earlier, but you can get video views down to almost a penny if you're targeting like India, Africa, other things like that. I usually recommend what's called like a hybrid. So let's say you want to get some raw numbers up, you know, for a video. You can target internationally and get some numbers there, and then, you know, maybe you get 10,000 or 20,000 views. But let's say you want to get 50,000 views in here. Then you spend the rest of your budget on targeting, you know, people here in the U.S. that are actual ideal customers, or you know, potentially either fans or customers, leads, lead gen, whatever you're going to go after. Tip 24 for your video: share it, embed it, post it everywhere. So you can actually get, you know, all sorts of SEO credit by posting it to your website. You can actually create what's called a video sitemap that you submit to Google. So it's not just the links to all the pages on your website, and you can do a photo sitemap, which I do a lot for my own websites and for my clients to help make sure all their content's getting indexed on Google. Google. Fun side note, I actually used to bike all over the Google headquarters. I worked up there in the Bay Area. I lived in the Bay Area for 5 years, love the area. But Google's very important for your video, not just on YouTube, but basically, you know, posting on your website, put it on your Facebook, your Instagram. Another thing I'm going to talk about in the same tip 23 here is be smart and think about what your competitors aren't doing, like the good old Sun Tzu, I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but the famous Chinese book, The Sun, I forget exactly what it's called, and I'm gonna get so mad at myself later because I know this book so well. But basically, he says, you know, be where thine enemy is not. So on Instagram, for example, when you're posting a photo or a video, you can actually cross-post a bunch of other places. So you guys probably always post it, you know, to your Facebook and your Twitter. You can actually add Tumblr on there. And there's actually like 3 or 4 other sites. One's like OK.ru, obviously for Russia. One is just a bunch of Chinese characters, so you probably never even thought about it. It's actually called Mixi, okay? And then there's another one called like VKontact, I think it's Russian. So I actually spent time, we got Adam's back in the building right now. So I actually spent time going to those Chinese and Russian sites, translating them just to create an account so that I can post my content to all 5 or 6 sites that Instagram lets me when I do post content. So I'm getting all that extra SEO juice value out of my videos that people aren't doing. So, you know, I'm betting 99.9% of people are not posting to Mixi or, you know, VKontact or the Russian site when they're posting on Instagram. I am. So people in China and Russia are seeing my message, because a lot of my companies are global, or I'm targeting people globally. So be where your competitors are not, and that's an easy way. Another button you can click every time you post to put your videos and images in the hands of more people. Tip 24, almost done, guys, okay? I think I need a minute. Adam's back here getting some light on my face. Tip 24 for getting your videos out there. You know, don't just share with your friends and family. You know, don't be scared to share with all of your business contacts. So I definitely recommend having a newsletter, things like that. You can actually export all of the email addresses from your LinkedIn. So you can actually go in LinkedIn on your settings. You can do the same thing on your Google, and you can do, I think you can do the same thing on your Facebook as well. You can actually export all of your data. You can get a CSV, basically an Excel file for all of you guys that are data nerds like myself, of all of your contacts, their first name, last name, email, location, a lot of other metadata. It's beautiful. Meta just means extra information about that data, which I'm actually building databases of investors with over 125 points of metadata. So everything from their work, their 4 past education places, where they volunteered. So I know everything, and I can mix and match that data in my data warehouse. But you can do the same with all of your contacts from different locations. So don't be scared to set up a newsletter on MailChimp. You can get a free account. Upload all of your contacts. Oh, here comes a business message. Can you get a quote? Yes, I'll send you a quote later.
Website.
Okay, yeah, then give your business cards. Yes. Adam's back. Do you want to sit down? Okay. Seems like he got some tips for us, so might as well. We're just gonna hop on to the same tip 24 of get your message out there. So
the last
deal. I just
The last tip.
clicked that. Wait, I don't think it started again. I think it just started again. Sorry about that. That was like a $5,000 deal.
So
I had to at least click decline.
Always have a business card on you, 24/7. Always have a really good-looking website that looks good, professional.
You can call branders like myself to help you get all that stuff.
Either have a good website or don't have a website at all. If you don't have a reel, something to show and something that looks really professional, just don't waste your time, right?
Yeah.
Business cards, don't get the cheesy ones. Don't get the free ones. Get something that actually.
Yeah, nice and thick, or with like a glossy following, or do like metal and stuff.
And put in your business card your Instagram, your Facebook, Twitter. Everything should be there. It should be easier for someone to see it and just grab it, and then they have all your information that they need to work with you.
Put this little light
and I think
here. Okay, so that's your tip 24. No, that's tip 24.
24?
We're not letting you guys off yet. It's time for tip 25. Oh, see, you know, this thing's getting a little wobbly here before tip 25. So tip 24 recap is, business again, cards. Well, that was just the thing. My thing is even more immediate because the business cards are great. That use by, or at least start collecting, you know, a mail, and you can actually put, if you start like a Facebook page or things like that, you can actually